Hello again and welcome back. My name's Annie and this is my creative detour. Today is Full Deck Challenge Day again, and the challenge is ran by Shana from ShanoukiArt, and I will link her below so that you can go and check it out, and I'll also have the hashtag below so that you can have a look at all of the other people that are participating in the Full Deck Challenge number 3. Now each week Shana gives us a new prompt, and this week's prompt is zigzag. So I'm going to be working on that. So there's a few things that you need to do in the challenge. Obviously you have to use the prompt, but you have a constant that you have to use, and my constant is paint swatches. So somewhere on the card I have to use paint swatches each week. The other thing is you've got to bring something over from last week's card. So I'm going to be carrying over from last week's card. You can probably see some thread, some black thread. Now this is my card from last week and it was lollies, and we have a shaker freckle lolly on here, and it was too good to share. But behind the freckle is some cotton thread, and that's what I'll carry over. So let's get set up and I'll show you what the plan is today. Okay, so today you can see that I've got a sewing thing happening, which is quite appropriate for a zigzag. I have pulled out the 6 of diamonds, and I have also pulled out some scrapbook paper that has a chevron pattern on it. And the name of that chevron pattern paper is Island Mist Chevron by Bo Bunny, and I've had it in my stash for maybe 4 or 5 years. I've got quite a few different colours in them actually. I got them from my craft store for 10 cents a sheet Australian. So that's like 6 cents in the US, or maybe 5p, something like that in the UK. So super cheap. And I have cut it down so that it's got a bit of a zigzag. I've also pulled out a little bit of sewing pattern that I'm going to put onto my card, onto the base of the card, because I just wanted to obscure the view a little bit. I also have taken out of one of my old magazines from my great aunt. I have taken out this lovely lady, and it was part of a sewing fashion advertisement, and I've just put a little bit of red colour onto that. Now let me tell you what the advertisement said. It said fashion frocks. Don't you love the word frocks? In Australia we don't say frocks anymore, we tend to say dresses, but it's a great word. And I've just prepped some of the things that it says. Now this one is called Claire. The pattern is called Claire, so I've cut the name out so that we can call our lady Claire. Now it says on the advertisement, Claire, a button-up coat dress with short cuffed sleeves, mandarin neckline, and gathered skirt, is obtainable in cotton seersucker. I used to wear a lot of seersucker clothes when I was younger. The colour choice includes white, blue, grey, maize, pink, and beige. Well, I've gone for a red, but I haven't coloured all of it in a heavy red. Now, I'm not sure what I'm going to use. I've got some of the other bits and pieces, so the sizing, ready to wear sizes, or if you want to do a cutout only, the sizes. Some ordering COD information from Sydney. Now, on that heading, which was called Fashion Frocks, you can see that I have glued on a paint swatch. So here's my paint swatch, and this is the leftover of the paint swatch. You can see that I have cut it with some zigzag scissors and put a zigzag edge onto it. So there's my paint swatch there as part of a trim. And what I'm going to do is my carryover as thread is going to be, I'm going to sew the card. So there'll be some thread on it from that. I also pulled out a piece of scrapbook paper that has measuring tapes on it, and I've folded it in a zigzag way, and I'm going to layer that onto the card somewhere. So let's start by putting our pattern onto our card, and we'll also do the back, I think. I'll have to stamp the date, so let's do that. All right, I'll just put a little bit of Mod Podge on the card. So I'm just Mod Podging on my dress pattern onto the card. Let that dry. Okay, so while that's drying, I've cut this down. Let's stamp it with today's date. There we go. It's dry now, so we'll cut it down. Now, I'm not going to worry about doing too much to the face of this card because a lot of it's going to be covered by the time I put on my chevron paper and our focal point and our zigzag measuring tape. There's not going to be much of the background showing, so I mainly put this piece of dress pattern on just to pull back the number 6 a little bit, add a few interesting lines here and there. Okay, so let's glue that on. So you really, by the time I stick that on here, we're only going to see little bits and pieces of it. So let's glue our chevron on. I'm going to just use some art glitter glue, and I just want the number 6 peeking out. I don't know why I picked out diamonds, only maybe because of their shape, that they were pointier, like a chevron, but you're not going to see it really. Just see it peeking out. Yeah, that's good. Let's burnish that down. And I'm just going to cut that down, tidy that up. And we'll glue our back on as well while we're at it. Let's do that. So I hope everybody's having a great weekend. It's a lovely Sunday afternoon here. It's getting quite warm here in Brisbane. And my son is back from Europe just for 2 weeks. So that's exciting. We've been having some wonderful family time. My granddaughter painted his toenails and fingernails last night with orange fingernail polish. He came in to me this morning early and said, I need some nail polish remover so I can take this off before I go to church. He had to get rid of the orange off of his nails. I think he left it on his toenails, to be honest. I don't think he worried about that. So she thought that was wonderful, painting her uncle's toenails and fingernails, and then he had to do hers. Things that are important to 5-year-olds. Okay, that's looking good. I'll just burnish that. You can possibly hear the birds chirping out of my craft room studio door. I've got a lovely double glass door that opens onto the backyard, and the birds are very sprightly at the moment. Now this text is going to annoy me, so I think what I'll do is I'll just cover that up with some whiteout. Let's do that. That's quick and easy. Let's white that out. Let's get some vintage photo out. I possibly should have inked the chevron. That would have been good, wouldn't it? A bit late now. Okay, what I'm going to do now is I think I'll glue that on about there, and then I'm going to run around it on the sewing machine with a black stitch. I might actually put a little bit of zigzag on there as well. I'm going to go to the sewing machine and do some sewing, and I'll be back. See you in a moment. Okay, I'm back. Here's our sewing. You can see that I've put some zigzag down just in here, and then I've done a straight stitch around most of the card. So that's what it looks like on the back. I think I need to adjust my tension. The back looks pretty average, but that's okay. Now let's get our hero on and some of this information. I think I want to ink this up so that it doesn't look so new. Let's do that. So this came off of a piece of scrapbook paper. I don't know the brand of it. I'm sorry, it doesn't have it on it. I think it's basic grey, and there's no, like I said, there's no branding on the paper, but it's got some lengths of measuring tape on it, some in imperial, some in metric. So I pulled out a metric one, and I think I'd like to put on our information about the Claire dress having a mandarin neckline. That's lovely. And I'll just ink Claire up a little bit. So let's work out where we want all of these things. I think I'd like to put Claire here with her elbow just going between fashion and frocks, so we can still read the word frocks, because it's such a great word. And I think I'd like to fold this, like I said, in a zigzag. Oh, let's put a few little dots of glue on this to hold it just where we want it, with those zigzaggy folds. On there, on there. It's looking pretty good. Once again, Auntie Laura's resources came to the rescue, finding a nice paper doll for me with a seersucker dress, and her pockets are folded like a zigzag. I'll show you. Not sure whether you can just see her pockets are folded over in a zigzag sort of fold. I don't know what the name of that fold is. People do it with paper pockets too. And if you know the name of that sort of overlapped fold, put it in the comments for me so that I know. So that's good. We're just seeing the word fashion, and we're just seeing the word frock, and we're just seeing our tiny little diamond stick out the top there. Tidy up the glue off the back. Now we have our blurb about the dress that says Claire, a button-up coat dress. We might put that on. I have a button. I think this corner's crying out for a button, don't you? And I have a few labels as well. Now, I have her name. I think we should maybe put her name on somewhere. Oh, yes, let's do that. Yes, I'm liking that. Let's stick a few things on. I've figured out where I wanted them. I'm just going to ink this label that says Claire, which is now the label of our lovely lady, but it's actually the name of the dress pattern. But she could be a Claire. We'll stick our blurb on. Okay, I've just put a black eyelet in it, and I'm kind of feeling that I need to balance some of the black that's at the top. I need to balance it down here. So before I put this button on, I'm just going to put a few black splatters on. Now this is just black acrylic paint, and it's mixed up quite watery, and I've just got it mixed up. and ready to go. And I'll just put a few black splatters, not many at the top, mostly down the bottom. Okay, I think that'll help with the balance. Okay, now I've just got my hot glue gun going, and I'm going to put a little bit of hot glue on the back of this button and push our button on. Oh yes, she's looking nice, isn't she? With the little bits of thread hanging. Now I do have some leftover information from our resource that we got our lady from, and it is, here it is, the Australian Women's Weekly, the 17th of February 1954. And I'm feeling like I want to put that on there so that we're keeping a little bit of the history going. Let's do it like this. Everything else is going sideways, so let's put it on sideways. I might just ink this. Okay, so there's our information on the back. So I'll clear the decks and we'll have a look at our card. Okay, here's our card and here's Claire. Now our prompt today was zigzag, and you can see that I started by covering the card in some dress pattern, and I put a chevron pattern in the background, and I got her out of the Women's Weekly, 17th of February 1954, from an advertisement for clothing or dress patterns. So you could either buy a ready-to-wear dress or you could cut and make it yourself. And I've put on the fashion frock heading with a zigzag bit of paint swatch, and the name of the paint swatch, I'm not sure whether you'll be able to see it there, top right hand corner of the red, it says Rum Runner. That was the name of the red paint swatch. And the paint swatch is my constant. And what I carried over from last week, from this card, I got black thread and I carried over black cotton thread by doing some zigzag stitch and some stitching around it. I put a measuring tape on in a zigzag folded pattern, and then we have just some sewing information on there. So there's Claire. I'm really happy with how she turned out. And there's the back of the card with today's date and our information from the magazine so that we can read it at some point down the track. Let's add Claire to our family. There we go, there's Claire on the ring with the rest of the family, and thank you so much for joining me today for doing our card number 41 with the prompt zigzag. So if you liked the card and the video, give it a thumbs up, that would be wonderful, and subscribe to the channel. And I hope you all have a wonderful week doing something fun and new. And I will see you all very soon with another project. Thanks again. Bye for now.